Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. I've been incredibly busy, and uh, that's a good thing though, because that means the car's getting done closer to running around and driving. I do have the garage door open. There's an incredible full moon tonight. After the live stream, go check it out, or go check it out anytime you want. It's called the Beaver Moon. I don't know why I didn't name it, but it's actually providing light in the driveway. It's gorgeous. So if you get a chance, go check out the moon tonight. Huge super moon. Um, and one other thing, and I'm going to show you guys what I work with here. So when I order Rockstar from Amazon, it comes in the 12-pack cases, and I get these cans, and about between 30 to 40% of them are like this, where there's no way that I'm going to be able to set that down on anything. If the bottom isn't jacked up, then the top is, and it's all blown out. So I can't obviously set this on a table or counter or anywhere. So we have to do it old fashioned. And just like at grandma's house, even though it's the same exact thing in a different container, we have to use a glass. Tastes the same. It's all the same. It's just a different method. And it being a brown glass with yellow fluid doesn't help. I swear it's not a urine sample. Mm, okay. So I want to show you guys what happened in the trunk, because there's a couple of things that went on when I was wiring up the PDC. PDC stands for Power Distribution Center. So there's a power distribution center in the front of the car. There's also one here in the back of the car, because we have electronics in the back, and we have engine management and headlights and all that other stuff up front. So the air compressor and controller for the air ride system is here in the trunk. And also the door popper system is here in the trunk. And the license plate up and down is also in the trunk. So we have two different systems, and trying to get all of these to work together is very difficult. We'll eventually have 4 batteries in the car, 1 in each corner, and they all do different things. So until I got batteries, I wanted to find temporary full-time power. Now I have just something that had 12 volts, a few amps, and that would be fine. So I found a wire that was part of the trunk soft close mechanism. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. We'll show you a cool trick with it. But there was full-time 12 volts there, and it was right at 4 amps, 4.3, something like that. And I'm like, that'll be fine. We'll have enough juice. We'll have 12 volts. It'll be happy. That will power our PDC, control our door poppers, control our license plate up and down. We'll be in good shape. It's only 4 to 5 amps, but I don't really need much until I get the batteries in there. Then the batteries are obviously going to have hundreds of amps, and I won't have to worry about it. And it'll be a beautiful 12-volt thing. So I just wanted something temporary, and without spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on batteries. So I found this. I thought it was going to work great. It did not work great, and it took me forever to figure out why. And I'll show you guys why a little later on. I want to show you the PDC first. So a couple things about the PDC in the trunk. Total price, less than $100 for everything. That includes the board, the bolts, all the electrical components, the wire, everything. Less than $100. It did take some finagling, And also the wires for the door poppers were not as long as I had hoped. So instead of routing them through the handle, I had to come in from the front side, and I'm not 100% pleased with that, but that's how it works. If I ever want to redo the poppers, I can. But that's a lot of wire. It's about 25 feet of wire per popper. So it has to go all the way down to the A pillar, come out through the A pillar into the door. So it has to go down about 20 feet and then back about 3 feet. So it's a lot of wire, and that's per side. So you can lose a 50-foot roll of wire in one project. So anyway, got everything mounted up. Everything works great. Um, First thing I want to show you guys is the key-on license plate. And I'm going to see if I can get a good shot for you where it shows what the license plate does when you key on the car. Right now, the license plate is hidden. So I'm going to drop you guys down. Please don't fall. Hopefully this gives you a little bit better angle on the license plate. Oh yeah, there we go. So the license plate is right here. And he's just temporarily mounted with some PVC just so we can see that it works correctly. We'll have a extension pipe on there with a spring that brings it down about another 1.5 to 2 inches. So when it goes up, the spring compresses. And then when it comes down, the spring extends and gives us a little extra length. So right now the plate is up. You're going to hear the fuel pump kick on. Now this fuel pump is no joke. It's like, I want to say it's 75 PSI. So it's pretty loud. So you're going to hear the fuel pump kick on, but you also watch down here. You're going to see the license plate. So the reason it does that, the plate drops. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. Okay. So did it this way because when we're driving the car, we want to be legal. And if the car's moving around on public streets, you have to have your plate displayed full time. And in, I think it's most states, you have to at least have a rear plate. And we have a rear plate. And please excuse the dent. This is getting repaired. Just not worried about that until we go to paint. So with the key on, the car's running. As we're driving around, the plate is down. Now, the other cool thing is the car will be raised up slightly, but even with the car as low, like all the way down, we're still going to have about a 1/2 inch. So we have to be kind of careful. But also, we have that spring load in there. So if it does, for some reason, we're at an angle or whatever, that spring gives us the little safety of going too low. So that's the good part. If it comes in contact with something, it won't burn out the actuator. It'll just spring back up and just won't be visible. The other thing we're going to do on here is the license plate frame will have a backup sensor. So we know how far back to go. There's only one mirror up there and it's really bad. And it's really hard to tell exactly how long this is. So if you're driving it by yourself, you definitely want a sensor in here that tells you whatever. So now when you get to wherever you're going and you turn off the car, the plate hides. Now, how cool is that? So now wherever you're at whatever event you're at, your plate is not visible, even though it's a custom tag, we don't really care. The plate's not visible, it's hidden. That's kind of nice. That was part of the custom wiring that I did with the 2 relays, the single pole double throw relays in there. And it worked out great. Very happy with that. That wiring is not connected to the trunk latch wiring. So I'm going to bring you guys over. I'm going to show you the PDC and do some explaining on that. So obviously we don't have a latch on here because the stupid the stupid casing broke. So that's why we have a green bungee cord right here. So let me grab a light and get in here. And I'm going to use the prop rod, prop up. So we have a little extra height here, just because otherwise I'll bonk my head on this. So yeah, give me a second. I will bring you guys around here. Into the trunk area. There we go. I'll try and, I don't know, I guess I can come a little bit closer. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. So in actually, you know what? Let me do this instead. I think we're just going to get a better view if I do this. Oh yeah, that's way better. Okay. Cord can go back here. Okay. So this is our power distribution center. This is our temporary battery because obviously we're going to have another battery in the back here. And you can see my high quality zip tie, safety tie, but the battery's not going anywhere. The PDC is a cutting board. I think it was $11 on Amazon. It might have been 10. And all this stuff was laid out, screwed into place and pre-wired. And then we have our two mounting screws, one down here, which is our ground, and one up here, which goes onto this diagonal brace that came with the car. You can see the brace up here. So I'll explain the basics. We have hot and we have unhot, which is our ground. And hot is all the power for the components, whether it's, it's actually full-time hot. This is full-time 12 volts that comes from this lithium ion battery. Ground goes straight to here, which goes to the car frame. This is part of the car frame. So we're happy with our ground. We have 3 spare relays here because we're probably going to be using them for pumps and other switches and actuators in the back here. So I put these relays in here and they come with their own fuse, which is really handy. If I can lift this out, they come with a 30-amp fuse for all of them. So I don't need a separate fuse block for these. They're terminated and heat shrunk just for safety's sake. This is my full-time power that comes from the battery. This was my temporary power that came from over here with the, if you follow this wire all the way back, and I'll show you guys the soft close mechanism. That's what I thought I was going to be using for 12 volt. So right now he's kind of locked away in the hot thing. He's got a cover on him and he's safe. So we're going to keep him around. We're just not going to hook him up to this, obviously, because I don't want 24 volts. So we're going to keep him around. We might use him for something different, something that we want to keep separate from the PDC. Or if we have to power one of these relays differently, we have 12 volt power on this side of the car, on the passenger side of the car, ready to go. This is our custom wired dual relay. These are single pole double throw. And these are wired where you have, this is for our license plate up and down. So when you turn the key on, you get power to one of the actuator wires, which is this little, these yellow guys. So red actually gets power. When you turn the key on, the license plate will drop down. And there's a limit switch inside the actuator that shuts off current. So when it gets all the way to the bottom, it's now open. It's like lifting the red terminal off the battery. Now, when you key off the car, it's going to this and it has power to this terminal now. And this terminal sends it the other way and it has a limit switch up at the top. So again, it's like when you have that limit switch, it pulls up. What the hell is wrong with the veins on my arm? What is that? What is that? Jesus. Okay. I don't usually ever see that. Anyway, that's like pulling the red terminal and it stops. So the actuator has its own kind of off switch in the actuator itself. So that's why we need power, and we have keyed power here, and this comes from the ignition up at the front of the car. And when you turn the ignition on, this gets 12 volts, which powers over here. Well, it actually powers both relays. Same thing with this. When you key off the car, now you have power at both relays. It's kind of cool how it was done. If you guys have questions about how these two got wired up so that we can drop the plate, let me know. I'll send you a wiring diagram on how this works so you can key stuff on and off. And when you have a relay like that, like doing LED lights or doing well, I guess not LED lights, but things like actuators that are supposed to, you know, have power, and then when you key off, they still have power. So when you key off the car, it's actually getting power from here. When you key on the car, it's actually getting power from here. That's an easy way to describe it. And this cover, we'll see if you guys know this. I put labels on all the covers because I thought it was fun. License plate was pretty boring, but I liked hot and unhot. And see if you guys, why would it focus? It says, I'll drive, give me the keys. If you guys know that movie reference, tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear it. So this is that's the license plate, which is a lot more complex than I thought it was going to be, but it worked out great. This is our controller for the door poppers. Now, as you can see, the wire comes over. This is a nice braided line I did that goes all the way up to underneath the hot tub up there. So I really wanted these wires to go behind this beam and come out down here and split. One goes on the top side, one goes on the bottom side. So our passenger side would go here, our driver's side would go here. But I had to run them this way because I didn't have enough wire length to come down and out. So that's how it works. If I want to redo it one day, I can. But this works great. This is going to be absolutely fine. So that's it. And this guy is regular RF, and he's also Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So right now, if I grab my phone and open the app, I can unlock the doors. I can pop the doors with this through the app on the phone. If I'm not near Wi-Fi, I can use Bluetooth and still pop the doors. Or I can use the remote and pop the doors without Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. The only downside, I haven't figured out how to do this, is to turn off this blue LED, damn it. So I'm gonna email the company that makes these and find out if I can turn off that blue LED, because it is doing a little draw on the battery. It's very, very minor, but it's enough to drive me nuts. Now, this car is always going to be on a charger. We're going to have multiple chargers, actually probably be a front charger and a rear charger that keeps these batteries full. The rear batteries are going to be the lithium ion ones. So to be a battery kind of similar to this. This is crazy light. This is like 2 pounds, maybe 3 pounds. It's very, very light. And it's very low amp, but we're not pulling a ton of amps here. We just needed more than the 5 or 4 that this guy provided. So we've got about, I don't know, 30, 40 amps, maybe 50, whatever it is. It's enough to keep this stuff going and running everything all at once. So we're going to switch these out to lithium ion. That one on that side will also go lithium ion. The one on the opposite side of the trunk is for powering the air compressor and air ride system. So that's kind of it. I really wish This is the antenna for that Wi-Fi thing. The only thing that I'm bummed about is how short these wires are. Everything else, I'm pretty content with where they are. We have room down here at the bottom. If we want to add a component, we can. So someday in the future, if we have something like another RF unit or whatever, we can add that. We did leave a little bit of room. The other cool part that I really like about this, besides it being extremely water resistant, the old plate was just plywood. It was 5/8 inch plywood. This is water resistant. Most of this stuff is extremely water resistant. Obviously, there's some air gaps up here, but also where this drain edge is, it is far inside this drain edge, which I like that a lot. That's a very good thing. So it'll be a lot harder for water to get in here, get anywhere near this. Now, this whole space is going to be taken up by the tank that holds the water for the tub. So the tank's going to come probably close to the wheel well here and come forward. So we'll still have a little bit of room in here, but we're not going to have any water splashing around or anything like that. So this stuff is pretty well set. I'm pretty happy with it. Up here, you can see this big ass cable. This is going to be from our, God, it's hard to show you guys this. That cable is going to be from our alternator, or actually our battery isolator, all the way to the back. So the alternator on the passenger side of the car is going to power, it's going to charge the engine battery, the one that runs all the engine stuff, and it's also going to charge the lithium ion one back here. So I'm still doing research on that. I'm not quite sure if the isolator will allow charging of a lithium ion. I know that the alternator can handle whatever gets thrown at it. It's a 250 amp alternator, so we're not going to be a problem with a small battery back here and a Group 34 battery up front. So that's not going to be the problem. I just want to make sure that this one, the lithium ion, does not get overcharged. So I got to do a little bit more research on that, but I think it being the second battery in the row, it will actually be okay. If it was the first battery, it would be hard. It would continually ask to be fed power, and the isolator wouldn't ever switch over to charge the one in the back. So I think having the AGM up front, the AGM first, the lithium ion second, I think we're okay with that. I need to do more research. This is new technology. This is cool new shit. So I want to make sure it works right. I'm going to come back up here and, I'll just spin around quick. Here, let's take a look at this. This is our other battery, since we're down here. And we have our quick releases now on this battery, which is really cool. These guys, they just pop off and pop back on. So we have our NOCO chargers. So when this needs to get charged, I just pop these off, and that goes back on. It's in a battery box too, which of course is not mounted yet. So this is our big Group 34 AGM. This is a regular AGM battery in here. I can angle it a little. I can't, not with the angle that I'm at. So this is our one battery on this side, which will be replaced by a lithium ion one. Okay. So let's bring you guys back up here, trying not to get the cords caught. I'm going to raise you guys up a little. Sorry, I know that's right in your face. Okay, there we go. So there's our cool PDC setup. Now, when I was trying to figure out what in the hell was going on with the 12 volts on the why won't you stay put? Every time I move you, you want to move more. I don't get that. So the problem with the uh, limited amps and why it worked when I had it hot wired here, just with the test cables, and it worked great. The door poppers worked great. The Wi-Fi was fine. The license plate up and down worked fine. Then I moved over and I took my wire that had been nicely soldered in and ran it over there, and I barely had, you know, barely had 3 amps going over there. I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" And I figured it out why I figured out where there was a draw. And the draw actually comes from this. This is currently powered. So that's where we're getting our loss and a little drop in amps and a little drop in voltage because this is currently powered. Now, I'm going to show you guys something cool. I figured this out just doing it in my head. Took the cover off, I checked the wiring, made sure everything was set. And I'm like, wait a second. This thing isn't grounded to the body right now. It's, the motor, the actuator in there is not grounded. In order to ground out, it has to use the latch. The latch that's in the trunk. Once that latch comes down, then it's grounded and it knows that it can go down. And then here's your limit switch, that little guy right there. So it knows to go down, and then when that limit switch goes, it opens the circuit again. But it's still powered because it's waiting for that ground to release again. The switch pops up, it raises up, you open the trunk. And just to test my theory out, this is so nuts. So I was like, wait a second. So here we go. I'm just going to ground it to this body bolt. There should be a panel right here. But I'm just going to ground it to this, and I'm going to hold down the limit switch. Actually, I won't. I'll do 2 cycles, and then I'll hold down the limit switch on the second one. So here we go. There it goes. And it's going to cycle up and down because now it's grounded out. Now I hold down the limit switch and it stops. Now, when you unlock the trunk, it's going to pop up a little bit. It's going to release this ground. Well, it's going to release the switch. You'll still have the ground. Well, sorry, you won't have the ground, but it's going to release that switch. Sorry, that's a better way to explain it. You release that switch, you don't have the ground anymore. It's going to raise up. That's where the draw was coming from, is from the controller inside this. So I'll do this one again just because it was one of those things I'm like, there's no way that thing's pulling power. It is. We'll hold down our limit switch and it stops. Now our trunk is fully closed. We key the trunk and pop it, and it pops back up. So that's where that comes from. That's why I had that voltage drop. This is a good source for 12 volts, but not a lot of juice behind that 12 volts. You're going to have very, very low amperage. So good source for 12, but if you're going to try and start a car, you're not going to do it with this. So that was something new that I learned today that I did not know before. So I figured you guys would like that. One other thing I did was I got a nice nylon bushing here. Before there were like 3 or 4 washers in here, and the plate, this is the actuator for the license plate going up and down. This was actually kind of wobbling around in here, and there's enough torque in this. It has like 60 pounds worth of torque, and the license plate weighs what, like 4 ounces? So this thing was kind of torquing itself loose. So I added a bushing in here, like 69 cents, 70 cents or something for the bushing. And now this guy won't torque. Plus, he is also nylon, so he's not going to ground anything out unnecessarily. So, actuator is good. We figured out the voltage drop, and now our trunk is very happy. So weird. So, so weird. But it's one of those you're like, I'm standing here now that I have the trim on here, I can actually do this. And I'm going through all of the power in my head. I'm like running it from all the way up at the front of the car, coming down here, going to this, going from here, all the custom wiring I did. I'm double checking myself. I'm like, did I do that right? Are these connections solid? Measure voltage over here, it's fine. I measure voltage over here, it's fine. I'm like, what is going on? And it, I don't even know how long. Let's say 5 hours. I don't know how long it was. But then I'm like, the problem's got to be in here. This is the only thing in the way of regular wire. Let's find out what the hell's going on in here. Cover off. Sure enough, there's 3 wires that go into there. There's full-time power to it. And the ground is what is causing this thing being grounded out is causing your or not being grounded out is causing your voltage drop. So this thing is always powered, ready to go. So if for some reason you have a, I don't know, a belt buckle, and you're also holding a screwdriver to something, to one of the frame rails, you might actually cause this to start going up and down by itself. I mean, that's insane, but that's how it works. So just a heads up, there's no power to this. You're not going to hurt yourself. Like, I can do this and I can touch ground, no problem. But you don't want to do this and touch a positive. You don't want to do this and ground to the body at all. This is just kind of grounded by itself. It's isolated right now. But once you hook it up to the body, bad shit's going to happen. So not bad shit, but stuff will happen. So we are all good in the trunk for now. And our fuel gauge works. So since we're going to do this, I'm going to set this guy off to the side. And there's my pull down. So we have a bungee on the inside that's going to go down underneath. And there are 2 holes where the original bumper used to mount. And that's where the bungee goes. So now we're closed and we're happy. This is still kind of wiggly. Obviously, we're not going to drive it like this, but for purposes of working on the car, this is going to be just fine. So the next fun part, and I'll show you guys this because I kind of started on it already. The next fun part is going to be the new caulk in the hot tub. And I just like saying caulk. C-A-U-L-K, baby. That's the kind of caulk I'm talking about. So this is actually caulk be gone. And I guess you could, anyway, there's like 8,000 jokes right there, right? So this stuff is apparently the best stuff for getting rid of latex caulk, and put this stuff on. You wipe it on. Use obviously a nitrile glove. Wipe it on wherever there's caulk, and then 2 to 6 hours, and it literally peels right off. So the temporary stuff that I had in there is all pretty much gone. What I have is some of the original that's still down in the corners, and this floor is actually going to get sanded. I have little adhesive guys that will go in here, so the floor is going to get sanded and repainted, and then once that's done, then we can go around with our brand new. And I don't want to get in trouble because it sounds like I'm saying a different word, but we'll go around with our new, and we have cool little tools to do cool little patterns and make sure that they make sure it looks really nice, because this has a lot of um, convex and concave curves. So it's a little weird to do all of the ceiling that you need to do it in one shot. You have to do kind of one swipe to make it look really nice, because there's not a lot hidden in here. So, and you don't have an edge where you can go, oh, well, I'll just, stream it up that edge. No, it's one sort of line. So that'll be fun. It shouldn't be that big a deal. The hardest part is going to be waiting for this stuff to do its job. Sanding down this is an acrylic floor. So sanding down the acrylic and repainting it, that's, a couple of coats, let it dry a couple of hours, and then laying down all of the new should be pretty simple. So that we're going to do once the car's flipped around. The car's going to get turned around and be facing the other way. So you get you guys set up back here, sort of here. If it'll stay put, like I set the camera there and it doesn't stay put. So tomorrow when it's daylight, I can't really move this thing at night. It's very difficult. But tomorrow when it's daylight, this car will go outside. The truck will come in. We're doing front brakes on the truck. There's something squealing on the front brakes, and I'm done with it. It's not very loud, but I have really sensitive hearing, and I can hear it when I'm driving. So I'm just going to replace the front pads. We get everything cleaned up. So tomorrow we'll do front pads on the truck. I'll just do the one wheel, and that way you guys don't get bored. It's a very simple process. It's really dirty and gross. And then when the truck moves out, the car will move in, but it's going to come in the opposite direction because we're done in the trunk for now. So we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff up in front, namely the tub getting repainted, resealed, and our electronics up in the front. Our gas gauge and our air pressure gauge for the airbags will go in the console area. And then we'll also have the engine around up on this side so we can get the engine running perfectly. And there's a vacuum leak I need to take care of and make sure it idles and everything's happy. Currently it's running a little bit rich, not crazy rich, not like drag car rich, but like a little too rich for me. So we'll get that fine tuned. There's a lot of stuff available for the Sniper, so it might be a matter of downloading a different tune and putting the card in there. We'll see how that works out. I'm new to the Sniper stuff, so I gotta get that figured out. And then I'll have the headlights up here. I can get cracking on the headlights. So pretty much done at the back of the car. Everything now will be at the front of the car, which I'm okay with. Actually, we still have to do the taillights, but I haven't found a set that I really liked yet. These work fine. They're legal-ish, but I would like to find a set that really fits in here really nice and looks good. So that's about it. Doing all this wiring in the trunk was kind of a pain in the ass, but it's also, the car's going to last a lot longer. There's way what I did here is far more efficient than what was originally in the car. So it should, batteries will last longer. It's a lot less strain on the batteries and the alternators and the rest of the electrical system. And there's less chance of fire, hazard, sparking, welding, any of that shit. So that's the deal, is to, heat shrink all the connections, make sure everything is screwed down tight, all of that. And make it as safe as possible and to be as efficient and work really well. And I think I did that with this. I think it got it, pretty damn close. Like I said, I wish those popper wires were if they were another 14 inches longer. And you know what I can do is I do have spare wire. I can do a really nice soldered connection with some heat shrink on it and just extend those a little bit. And I'm insane enough, I might actually do that. It's one of those, like, bored on a Sunday afternoon, what do you wanna do? I'll spend an hour, redoing 14 inches or 28 inches of wire. Yeah, sure, just because my OCD is out of control. So anyway, um, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that it turned out. If you guys have any questions about it, please let me know. If you, if you want the wiring diagram for those relays, so you can have the same key on, power down, key off, power up, let me know. I'm happy to send those over to you. Um, there's there's a ton more stuff coming on the limo, and we're getting much closer to having it, uh, you know, start up and go. The other downside is it's supposed to get stupid cold next week. So depending on, like, 40 degrees. So depending on how things work, the limo might hang out outside and the garage door might come all the way down. Because when it's in here, I can only close the garage door so far. So the limo might hang out outside until it gets back up to 70, which will only be a couple of days. So it's not that big of a deal. But uh, yeah, maybe we'll do Miata stuff while the limo's outside. We'll see what happens. But tomorrow will definitely be, the Ram will be in here for new front brake pads. And then as soon as that's done, literally bring the limo in nose first. And that'll be it. The good part is we won't need these ramps. Because even lowered, even with it low like this, it's still a pain in the ass to get in and out of the trunk. So, yeah. Thank you guys very much for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. If you have any comments, questions, whatever, definitely put them down there. Text me, email me. You know how to get in touch with me. It's not that difficult. And we'll be in here. We're gonna keep cranking stuff out. It doesn't ever stop. Got the Miata hardtop. We got to finish clear coating. There's a ton of stuff, and just making everything perfect. It takes it takes a lot of work, but it's worth it. And I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. I saw a bunch of new subscribers. Thank you guys. I'm glad you're enjoying this stuff, and definitely spread the word. I appreciate it. Like I said, I don't get paid a dime for any of this. YouTube doesn't give me any money. So this is it. I love teaching, and I love showing folks how to do stuff, and hearing back from them that, hey, I changed out my brake pads by myself. Thanks a lot for showing me how to do it. That, you can't put a price on that. So that's why I love doing this stuff, and I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can. So that's about it for tonight. Don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Give me a kiss on the cheek. Give me a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. I will catch you tomorrow. All right. Have an awesome night. This car needs painted.